Good day, everyone. I am Agent Louis B. Ferrer, your reporter for the last part of the Unit 5 Under Pressure. So, from previous discussion, we learned about the different pressure system. We differentiated the low pressure system into high pressure system. And also at this point, from previous discussion, we also identify what are the natural disasters caused by either low pressure system or high pressure system. So ngayon, nasa dulong part na tayo ng Unit 5. Now we will talk about the historic natural disasters caused by these pressure systems. So basically, i-discuss natin what are the famous mga historic na either typhoon or droughts which was caused by these pressure systems. So we will talk about one international and one local natural disaster. So historic typhoons related to low pressure system. So low pressure system, also known as tropical cyclones, they play a significant role in weather climate patterns. So two noteworthy um, typhoons that we will mention is the Hurricane Milton, which was the latest Category 5 hurricane, and as well as Typhoon Yolanda. So I know we are all familiar with Typhoon Yolanda. It is one of the deadliest typhoon ever recorded. So Hurricane Milton was formed in October 2024 as a tropical storm. So as I said earlier, nag-gain siya um, tawag dito, parang naging famous tong Hurricane Milton na to, and in every social media platforms, nakikita ko tong si Hurricane Milton. So mamaya maintindihan din naman natin why. So it intensified this hurricane over warm waters and made landfall near the Florida Gulf Coast. So naglandfall siya sa Gulf Coast. If you're not familiar with that, it is the place when you say coast, ito yung mga lugar kung saan yung ocean or yung sea is na-meet yung land. So makikita nyo dito sa PPT na yung track ng ng Hurricane Milton. So as you can see, dun sa area around Tampa and Miami, dun siya dumaan. So it is the Florida Gulf Coast. So maximum sustained winds is 120 mph category 3. So nasabi ko kanina na category 5 si Hurricane Milton. No? So pero nung naglandfall siya, ang wind speed lang niya is 120 mph which is equivalent to category 3 of hurricane. So pero malakas din naman tong Hurricane 3 and 120 mph. It can actually cause destruction ng mga light materials na bahay. Pwede rin niyang makapagpatumba ng poste ng kuryente as well as trees. So Hurricane Milton up to 10 to 15 inches of rain. So yun yung gano'ng kataas yung binuhos na ulan ni Hurricane Milton. So it also causes significant storm surges na nag-cause ng coastal flooding. When we say storm surge, kung hindi kayo familiar doon, ito yung parang tsunami. Pero ang pagkakaiba nito, di ba, sa tsunami, ang nagkakos ng big waves are earthquakes. While sa storm surge naman, ang nagkakos ng big waves are either typhoon or cyclone. So, parang yung wind from typhoon or hurricane, tinutulak niya yung water from the ocean. Kaya nagkakos ng malalaking or matataas na waves which are called storm surge. So, affected coastal cities like Pensacola, Fort Walton Beach. So, yun yung mga lugar na inapektuhan nito. So, it causes $2 billion damage and unfortunately killed 15 people. So, makikita mo dito sa mga pictures in the PPT yung naging cause ng Hurricane Milton as a Category 3 typhoon. So why is Milton historic? Milton is historic because of record-breaking rapid intensification, tying with Hurricane Wilma 2005 and Felix 2007 for the fastest to reach Category 5. So it intensified by 90 mph within 24 hours. So kaya historic si Milton is, first of all, it actually reaches Category 5, which is the highest category for a hurricane or typhoon. Pero sa kabutihang palad nung naglandfall tong si Milton is Category 3 na lang siya. Ibig sabihin, humina siya nung naglandfall siya. Ngayon, nung Category 5 pa siya, si Hurricane Milton was extremely dangerous or extremely, ano ba sa word natin doon? Parang nakakatakot talaga siya, no? So, yun yung sinasabi ko na this hurricane actually got famous. Parang sobrang pinag-uusapan niya sa social media platforms, lalo na sa TikTok. Pero, yung mga sinasabi naman doon is totoo. First of all, ang nangyari, nung papalapit si Hurricane Milton, nagkaroon ng mandatory evacuation. Ibig sabihin, parang pinipilit na yung mga tao na mag-evacuate from their homes into another location para iwasan na nga to si Hurricane Milton because Category 5 is not a joke. So, ayan, alam nila na delikado si Hurricane Milton. Pag naglandfall to na sinosustain niya yung ganong lakas ng wind speed, and if Category 5 pa rin siya tapos mag-hit siya, alam nila na magiging devastating yung magiging result. So, ang nangyari, the government, the mayor of Tampa, if I'm not mistaken, issued a mandatory evacuation. Although hindi naman lahat ng tao is nag-evacuate. Pero nung dumating na yung Hurricane Milton to, hindi siya masyadong malakas as expected kasi nga humina siya over time. So ayun, hindi masyado naging devastating, hindi masyado naging destructive itong si Hurricane Milton sa kabutihang palad. Now let's talk about Typhoon Yolanda, which was formed in November 2013 as a tropical depression. So similar to Typhoon Milton, Typhoon Yolanda or Typhoon Haiyan intensified into a super typhoon, so rapidly. So mabilis lang din siya. From a tropical depression is naging super typhoon. So it made landfall in Eastern Visayas with maximum sustained winds of 195 mph category 5. So alam ko naman na we are all familiar with Typhoon Yolanda. Ito yung typhoon na kahit medyo malayo sa atin, it causes significant damages and destruction sa mga bahay-bahay, and especially sa mga lugar na nagpinaglandfallan nitong si Typhoon Yolanda. So it is an unforgettable moment. So nakikita nyo dito sa picture in the PPT, sakop na sakop niyo yung buong Pilipinas. Actually, the Northern Luzon lang halos yung nakikita dun sa image, satellite image. So up to 15 to 20 inches of rainfall in affected areas. So ganun kataas yung binabang rainfall nito sa Typhoon Yolanda. Catastrophic storm surges up to 23 feet. So yun yung nakakasabi ko sa inyo kanina kung ano yung storm surge. It is yung mga matataas na waves na ang nag-cause is yung hangin ng typhoon. So sabi dito ang Typhoon Yolanda daw, nag-cause siya ng 23 feet na storm surge. So mas mataas na alon kumpara sa Typhoon Haiyan. Siguro pwede natin siya i-compare sa 23 feet. Kasing taas ng isang jeep na patayo. So ganun kataas yung storm surge na dala-dala nitong si Typhoon Yolanda. So severe impact on Tacloban City and surrounding areas. So makikita nyo rin dito yung result nitong si Typhoon Yolanda. So alam ko yata sa Tacloban siya nag-cause ng major destruction. So ang kanyang collateral damage is $14 billion. and unfortunately 6,300 ang reported fatalities. When we say fatalities, ito yung mga namatay uh, during the storm event. So, sinabi dito reported, so we don't know if meron pa bang hindi na-report, and hindi pa rin naman dito included yung mga injured. So, from this point, from the shared information, mga pictures sa PPT, we all know that Typhoon Yolanda, Typhoon Haiyan is one of the most destructive, one of the unforgettable typhoon na na-record dito sa Earth. It is also one of the deadliest, of course. So why is Yolanda historic? One of the strongest and deadliest tropical cyclones ever recorded, sabi ko kanina, with a maximum sustained winds of 195 mph and storm surges as high as 23 feet. Yolanda caused over 6,300 deaths and displaced millions of people. The scale of destruction and the resulting humanitarian crisis triggered one of the largest global relief efforts in history. So, ano ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin yung naging destruction nito, nag-cause siya ng largest global relief history. Ibig sabihin, different nations tumulong sila, nag-effort sila para magbigay ng relief, para tumulong sa salanta ng Typhoon Haiyan or Typhoon Yolanda. So, ganun, naging ka-destructive itong si Typhoon Yolanda. Nagkaroon na ng involvement globally. So, Yolanda remains a symbol of extreme weather like linked to climate change and highlighted the need for better disaster preparedness in vulnerable regions. So, siguro kaya naging parang napaka-cautious ng mga tao dun sa paparating na si Typhoon Milton is because of Typhoon Yolanda. Because of the destruction, because of the effect of Typhoon Yolanda. Kasi Typhoon Yolanda hindi ito masyadong handaan ng mga tao, to be honest. Parang hindi nila in-expect na ganun kalakas yung magiging impact nito sa mga bahay-bahay, sa Pilipinas, ganun. So, parang naging symbol na ng takot itong si Yolanda kung saan ang isang category 5 typhoon is hindi dapat binabasta-basta, hindi dapat minamaliit. Kaya ayun, nung nagkaroon ng another category 5 typhoon, yung government is naging mas cautious na sila, mas nag-prepared na sila. In fact, nag-try sila mag-implement ng mandatory evacuation. So, ayan, tapos na tayo sa historic typhoons and hurricanes which was caused by low pressure system. Ngayon, we will talk about the historic droughts caused by high pressure system, or at least related to high pressure system. First, we'll talk about is the Dust Bowl. It is a severe environmental disaster in the southern plains of the United States during the 1930s. It resulted from a combination of poor agricultural practices and a prolonged drought caused by high-pressure system that prevented moisture from reaching the region. The Dust Bowl, this high-pressure system led to extremely dry conditions across the Great Plains from Texas to Nebraska, creating ideal conditions for massive dust storms. So the Dust Bowl was primarily caused by economic and agricultural factors. Farmers in the plains over cultivated the land, uprooting native grasses that help hold the soil in place. High pressure system and droughts, and as well as dust storm. So ano ba tong dust storm na to? No? Yung dust storm or dust bowl, nangyari siya sa Great Plains ng Nevada. So parang as you can see here in the PPT, makikita nyo na parang yung mga matataas na alikabok, or yes, alikabok to, hindi naman to smoke. So ano ba nangyari dito sa dust bowl na to? The dust bowl is something like a event kung saan nagkakaroon ng sobrang tataas na alikabok, sobrang laganap na alikabok na pakalat dun sa Great Plains. When you say plains, kapatagan pala. So, anong nangyari dito? Yung, of course, the high pressure system is still involved, but actually what causes this dust bowl, this event, is the agricultural factors. So yung mga farmers dito sa Great Plains na 'to, they over-cultivated. Ibig sabihin masyado nilang nagamit yung lands kung saan um, naging overuse na yung ginawa nila. So na-uproot nila yung native grasses, tinatanggal nila yung mga damo-damo dun na ang nangyari, yung mga damo kasi na yun, hinohold nila yung soil in places dun sa kapatagan na yun. Ngayon, nung nawala yung nag-hold um, sa lupa na yun, sa kapatagan na yun, pag nagkaroon ng hangin, parang madali na lang nadadala yung soil, madali na lang na bubuhat ng hangin. Ngayon, ang relation nito sa high pressure system, remember, yung high pressure system, it brought droughts. Ngayon, nung nagkaroon ng droughts, syempre walang ulan, natuyo yung lupa. Yung lupa na hindi na na-hold ng plants. So, ang nangyari, bukod sa madali na lang hanginin yung lupa, madali na lang mabuhat ng hangin yung lupa, nag-contribute pa yung pagiging tuyo nito sa pagiging madali niyang buhatin. So ngayon, nung nagkaroon ng dust storms yung pinakita ko kaninang picture kung saan merong matataas na alikabok, yung maramihang alikabok. So dahil walang moisture, walang nagpo-protect sa lupa, walang vegetation nagpo-protect sa lupa, walang vegetation na nag-hold sa lupa in place, yung malalakas na hangin, dadala niya tong buhangin sa lupa na to, nadala niya yung lupa, which causes dust storm. So ito yung tinatawag na dust bowl. So ano pa yung naging impact nito? First, we have agricultural collapse. Million acres of farmland became unusable. So ang nangyari, dahil nagkaroon ng erosion, dahil natanggal yung taas na lupa, naging unusable na siya for farmers. And hindi na siya parang hindi na siya fertile, hindi na makakapag palaki ng vegetation dito sa lugar na yun, na dun sa mga lugar na yun, kasi nga unang-una because of droughts, tuyo na, tapos nawalan pa ng nag-hold dun sa lupa na yun. So very frequent yung dust storms, which is not ideal for vegetation. Ngayon, ano yung naging cause nito? Of course, if hindi na siya usable, if hindi ka na makakapagtanim sa lugar na yun, anin mo pa yung lugar na yun. So, ang nangyari, nagkaroon ng migration kung saan umalis yung mga tao sa lugar na yun to find another place kung saan sila pwedeng magtanim. And this ultimately result in economic devastation. So next, the 1997 and 1998 El Nino event. This El Nino event, tumagal tong El Nino event na to in just 1 year naman. However, it causes significant droughts in the Philippines. Ang nangyari, na-reduce yung rainfall, mas mahinang monsoon, tapos mas konti na yung tropical cyclones na pumapasok sa Philippine Area of Responsibility or PAR. So before the El Nino event, before this devastating event, so before this El Nino event, the government actually gave early warning, or specifically the Pag-asa. So the Pag-asa provided early warning about the upcoming El Nino as early as 1995. So ganun kaaga before sila. 1995 pa lang nagbigay na sila ng warning about the upcoming 1997, 1998 El Nino event. So after of the El Nino event naman, nagkaroon ng different government response, crisis management, the Interagency Committee for Crisis Water Management, and the Presidential Task Force. El Nino collaborated with various key agencies to develop concrete response plans. So, para masolusyonan tong nangyaring drought na to, which is very devastating para sa mga farmers lalo na dito sa Pilipinas wherein a lot of people are farmer, a lot of people get their resources from vegetation. So nagkaroon ng international involvement kung saan yung Presidential Task Force nag-collaborate sila um, with other agencies to develop a concrete plan which will be used to respond or to solusyonan tong drought event na to. So international cooperation, nagkaroon din ng involvement globally, nagkaroon din ng international involvement kung saan yung Philippines nag-participate sila sa international efforts including sending a delegation to the Asian Regional Meeting on El Nino related crisis where regional outlooks and strategies to mitigate the effects of El Nino were discussed. So that is all for the Unit 5. I hope you understand the different pressure system and as well as ano yung mga kinakos nito, and actually overall lahat ng nasa Unit 5 ng mga nireport niya. So I hope na we all understand what are the contents of the Unit 5. Now, if you have any question, feel free to ask the reporters of the Unit 5 for better clarification. So ayun lang po. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.